the time of the year when expectations are running high as we head into the union budget next week. A famous quote goes, "You never let a serious crisis go waste." 2020 has been a crisis of unimaginable proportions. And as our own finance minister said, this is going to be a budget like none else in the past. So, what are the things we can expect our finance minister to address in this budget? As we head into it, there are four pressing issues. Number one, health. We are coming off the most serious health crisis the whole world has ever faced in the last 100 years. And rightfully, that needs to be the main focus in this budget. The sectors that will be impacted by budget decisions would be pharma, hospitals, and insurance. So pharma industry has for long been seeking 200% deduction for R&D expenditure. Given the fact that we've been the vaccine hub for the world during this crisis, and also the fact that we were the exporters of some of the key drugs which people wanted to try out in rest of the world during the peak of the crisis, incentivizing this sector is for our own good in terms of improving the health of our country and also being a good export base for rest of the world. The second subsector within health which needs to be incentivized is hospitals. We did have some of our hospitals peaking in terms of ICU capacity during the crisis. And what happened was it was not just we were short of ICU beds, people with other critical ailments could not be addressed. So we definitely need to incentivize setting up of hospitals, not just in clusters in certain parts of the country, but across the country. So tax incentives to increase tax deduction for capital expenditure in setting up hospitals is an imperative. Insurance. We are an underinsured country. We need to incentivize people to take up life insurance and health insurance. So any incentives for this sector would be much welcome. The next pressing factor that needs to be addressed is economy. We are coming off the worst recession in independent India. Expectations are for mid to high single digits decline in GDP growth for FY21. The plight of the migrant worker who lost his job and had to go back to his hometown is something that no Indian can forget and should not forget. So, any incentives to create jobs for them is an imperative. Sectors which create jobs outside of agriculture are real estate, infra, and manufacturing. These are the sectors that employ maximum people outside of agriculture. So, some of the incentives that real estate sector has been seeking, which would boost their business, would be increase in tax deduction for both principal repayment and interest repayment on home loans. Infrastructure. The government has announced ambitious infra plans with its national infra policy. Any further details on how it is going to promote it and incentives for that sector would be keenly watched. Government can make a good start by setting up development financial institutions. Dr. C. Rangarajan, the former governor of Reserve Bank of India, in a chat with Business Line a couple of months back, had highlighted that it was time for India to bring back development financial institutions given our infra needs. Next in economy is auto sector, which is also a big employer. The product-linked incentive schemes announced recently, while it's given incentives for many sectors, the maximum has been outlined for the auto sector. And further details on the contours of that would provide more clarity for the auto industry to start making its investment plans. The next pressing issue is climate change. Much before COVID engulfed the world, must also be remembered for the fact that wildfires ravaged Australia, fires that were the result of global warming, and it destroyed acres of forests and natural habitats of many animals. In fact, according to some reports, billions of animals died in the fire. So, climate change is a pressing imperative that needs to be addressed, not just for the fact that we've had wildfires, but also for the fact that COVID crisis has made us understand the need to coexist with nature. So, sectors which could benefit from any incentives for climate sector are renewable energy, and electric vehicles, which is part of the auto sector. So incentives for these sectors would be much welcome. The next pressing issue, which is the fourth that needs to be addressed, is domestic manufacturing. The COVID crisis exposed we were lacking some of the key components to protect ourselves, including N95 masks. We had to import it from China, and when China had shut down parts of its economy, we were short of critical masks, which we needed to protect ourselves. That apart, the very serious standoff with China last year has also made us realize we need to be independent or at least self sustain partially so that we are prepared for any crisis that may arise in future. Hopefully not, but we cannot live on hope. So domestic manufacturing to kickstart key components across sectors, pharma, TOS, etc., must be incentivized. And the government's plan of Atmanirbhar Bharat aims to address it. So more clarity and details on that would be welcome. These pressing issues apart, there are few other factors. One is the legacy issue. The banking sector has been facing NPA issues for nearly a decade now, and we still haven't resolved it. Unfortunately, the COVID crisis has only enhanced it. So, some are expecting a bad bank to be set up. While opinions differ on the efficacy of a bad bank, it may be worth a try. So the current RBI governor, Shaktikanta Das, has noted he is open to considering the idea of a bad bank. So there may be a possibility that the government might make some announcements regarding setting up a bad bank in this current budget. So coming up to the next important factor, capital markets. Capital markets have been expecting a removal of long-term capital gains or a reduction in securities transaction tax. But given that markets have been celebrating new highs so many days in the peak of a global crisis, there really isn't a case for any incentive for the capital markets. The sector that needs incentives is the savings sector. Senior citizens are in a scenario where they are enduring negative real interest rates. They cannot and should not be incentivized to invest in the capital markets. Security of their principal for their age is extremely important. So, given this, it is important that the government announces incentives for the senior citizens in terms of enhanced tax deductions to compensate them for the negative real interest environment that we are in today. This might be disappointing for the capital markets, but given that we are at all-time highs as far as markets are concerned, when the world had multiple crises at the same time, we should take it as a message that they don't need these incentives. Finally, it would be nice if everybody's expectations were to be met. But unfortunately, money does not grow on trees, and the finance minister has a really tough task set out for her. Let's see what she has to deliver next week. This is Hari Vishwanath, Chief Research Analyst, Business Line Research Bureau. Thank you.